welcome. I'm Akram Burris, and you're watching Akram's Ideas of bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. In this yet another holiday special episode of Akram's Ideas, I'm sharing with you the reveal of my little red dress. And if you like what you see, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe for more Akram's Ideas videos. And I'd love to hear in the comments below if you participated in the Little Red Dress project and what did you make? Let's get talking about my little red dress. Now, I've mentioned in several past videos that I was taking part in the Little Red Dress project, which was organized by Renta of Running in Style in collaboration with Holly from Holly Dolly, formerly Holly So's channel. Basically, the idea was for everybody to get together and sew a red dress for the holidays. And everybody was to reveal their red dress around December 20th or so. Now, of course, I'm a little late getting my video out there as far as my red dress goes. I did have a couple of different issues. One, let's start off with the dress itself. I'm actually wearing the Coco pattern from Tilly in the Buttons. I've wanted this pattern for a really, really long time. I've seen wonderful makes of it and it was super easy. And I wanted something comfy that I could get more wear out of it than just a party dress. Originally, I chose some red jersey that I was going to use for the Coco dress, and everything went really, really well with the jersey, cutting it out, putting it together. Unfortunately, I did not cut the right size, so the dress did not fit, even though it went together really, really super easy and well. Last minute, I tried it on and it didn't fit, and I was like, dang it, I wasn't gonna make it in time. But the Coco pattern, I will say, is so easy to put together. I was able to knock out a second one the very next day, so I got another one out in no time. Now, for the one that does fit, the second one that I made, I actually chose some red fleece for this because I didn't have any red jersey left over. And while the pattern does want some stretch in it, the red fleece had a lot of, it didn't have a lot of stretch, but I lowered the seam allowances just a bit so that I could get the fleece over my head and everything, since the dress doesn't have any zips or buttons or anything like that. So it's just kind of a pullover dress. So like I said, I used some red fleece that I actually had in my stash, which is leftover fabric from my swing coat that you guys may have read on the blog a couple of years back. So I used the red fleece for the main body of the Coco. And while I was finding the red fleece in my stash, I came across the red satin, which I had also used for the swing coat, which I used to line the coat and everything. So for this, I was like, hey, what if I did the same thing like I did with the swing coat? I will use the satin for all the trim pieces. So I'll use satin for the collar, I'll use satin for the cuffs. And that idea, I thought, went really, really well. It really dressed up the dress from just sort of a loungy dress to a little more pizzazz, so you could wear it to like a holiday party and stuff and not look too casual. Now, I was worried that the satin wouldn't hold its shape because it's very, very thin. So what I did, let's say for the collar, is I actually base stitched it onto my fleece collar piece and then sewed the collar as directed. There was an issue though that I didn't take into account, is that the collar piece is folded and then folded a second time. So you get like a 4 layers of fleece, and that was just way too bulky. The first time I put it on, I almost looked like I had a balloon neck collar because of the shiny satin. It was really, really plumpy and everything. So what I ended up having to do is I went back into the collar piece and I cut the original rectangle in half. So what you see here is actually half the width of the collar, because ideally it's supposed to fold over, but because my collar was so chunky, I just cut the top half so there's no fold on it, so it just sets properly on here. Some other little issues, the satin frays real bad and snags, and I actually got a little bit of a snag on the sewing machine dog feet a little bit right here, and it I tried to fix it with some fabric glue. I hope it doesn't unravel. It kind of looks like a little bit of a stain, but overall it's not too bad. I mean, I don't think people are gonna come up right up to my neck and like, what's that spot there? They might, I don't know. The other thing for the cuffs, now I sewed the sleeves as the pattern. I didn't lengthen or shorten, and I probably should have shortened because it came down way past my little hand here. So instead of sewing on the cuff, I actually just sewed some satin onto the back side. Let me show you here. Onto the back side of the sleeve. So you can see the sleeve's actually pretty long on me. So what I did is, instead of having to cut the cuff and baste the satin on, is I just sewed the satin onto the underside, just ever so slightly, just the length of the cuff actually. And I sewed it on there and then rolled it over so that I could get the same cuff effect without actually making cuffs, and addressing that issue with the sleeves being a little too long on me. Then the last little bit, I'll kind of hike up my skirt here so you can see. Trim at the very end of my dress. Once I had it all done, my husband was like, hey, you need to finish off your hem. Why don't you add some satin there? So that's exactly what I did. I just took some satin at the very bottom, I stitched it to the very, very end, and then I folded the satin over and top stitched it. Things that I don't like about the dress, one of which is that obviously I rushed to make this since I was working on it the day before the reveal, is that I did a lot of top stitching on the satin. So I top stitched to get the satin on around the cuffs, I top stitched down the hem, I top stitched right here along the edge of the satin here. And while it's not too horribly noticeable, it would have looked a lot nicer if I did like a slip stitch by hand so that you wouldn't see any stitching on the satin. Especially like on the hem, it could have looked really nice. But I just didn't have time. I did want to wear it for the holidays, so I did what I could to knock it out. And it was a really good practice run because now I've done the Coco twice and I could probably do it in my sleep. It's such an easy pattern to put together, and I really, really love Tilly's instructions in the pattern book. Despite all my issues that I had putting together my little red dress project and actually putting together this video since it's super late now, I have thoroughly enjoyed participating in this collaboration project, and a big thanks to, again, Renata and Holly and everybody else. One of my favorite things about being a part of this participation is to get to see all the other makes that everybody has put together on Instagram, on YouTube, on blogs. There have been some amazing makes, everything from casual tunic type dresses to fancy full-on dresses with satin, velvet, lace, I mean all sorts of things. There was even a doggy dress out there. It was hilarious. It was just so amazing to see everybody and all their makes. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas. And don't forget, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And as always, don't forget to follow us on social media or subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.